Welcome to Om Times TV, a division of Om Times Media and Broadcasting.
Consistently attract soulmate clients. Begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Rosalind Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to the sweet spot that activates your soulgasmic business. Enjoy this light language activation as we begin to magnetize and monetize.
Hello, my loves. Welcome to another episode. This is going to be an incredible episode. If you are a healer, light worker, coach, you're maybe not any of those yet, and you are feeling called to explore putting your business out in the online world. Stay tuned as we go deeper into this. But first, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Rosalind Fung of Bold, Sexy Warrior Coaching. I'm a former registered psychologist turned Akashic visionary life and business soul coach. And inside this potent container of Soul Ascension Business Academy, which is my 1-year group coaching mastermind hybrid, I help my clients take all of their ideas and put them into a clear path of action towards their big vision, dream, and business. I help you overcome self-doubt, believe in yourself at that next level, and unleash your absolutely next level version and the impact you deeply desire to create. And embody that yummy sacred sales energy that magnetizes your soul tribe. So if this sounds delicious to you and you're curious, you can DM me at Bold Sexy Warrior on Instagram, or Bold Sexy Rosalind Fung Coaching, Bold Sexy Warrior on Facebook, Soul Ascension, and let's get you on a call and apply so that we make sure that this is a really great fit for you. Now, let's move into our show here. I have one of my, Rose, we have been knowing each other and we've been kind of hanging on the same circles. So I'm going to call her one of my soul sisters. We just recently got even more connected. Rose Simard. She and I actually were up for the Impact Award under the Business from the Heart. We were both nominees, and Miss Rose won. I was so excited, and I was like, I need to get to know this lady better. I was cheering her on because we have mutual friends and colleagues, and I was like, clearly she's an amazing person, and I'm so happy to have her here to share her wisdom, her gifts. So this episode is absolutely for you. If you're again, here, just kind of exploring the world of online business. Why choose to start an online business? Why is starting an online business a good idea? And what is there to consider before starting an online business? And how does having an online business help women? And is it worth it to take an online business course? Let's dive in deeper. Let me introduce to you Rose a little bit more formally. She is known as a Fresh Start Queen. Rose works with women who have a strong desire to improve their financial circumstances, especially if they are currently struggling and are motivated to move forward with their financial well-being, married or single. No matter what your circumstances are, financial security is available for everyone. And with the right strategy, commitment, and work, Rose believes everyone can have a fresh start, which is why Rose founded Dare to Dream. an online business startup program that helps her clients build their own financial shelter where they can feel safe and inspired to build the life they've always dreamed of by learning how to make and control their own money. Rose, like honestly, this is everything. There are so many people, especially semi post pandemic, like there's been a lot of it's a lot of financial struggles. And just hearing what you're doing for women, no matter what their financial situation is, you give them so much hope. So I can't wait for you to share more about your journey and how you got to be who you are today and be doing what you do. So please, hello.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, so sorry, my dog in the background. I'm just going to apologize.
All good.
We all
We're gonna roll with
work
it.
from home and all that, so which is good. Yeah, it's been, I was so appreciative and really touched by winning that Impact Award. And seeing who else was in the category was also really quite amazing. Just to be in the same realm as you, Rosalind, because like you said, we haven't met in person, but the circles for the last 3 years has been there's touches, and it's interesting because like-minded people or people who are always on purpose or doing certain things, there's always overlap, there's always this connection, this degree, like this, connect 6 degrees of separation. I think it even becomes even closer, right, when you are working on that, so which is great. Yeah, fresh start. I've been working as a divorce mediator and a financial analyst for the last 6 years. And what I've been seeing mostly for people is they always wanted a clean break. They wanted to just get through their divorce, and then they would deal with the future in the future. But I realized that there was a big missing piece. There was a lot of help. There's a lot of services available to help people through divorce, but there's very little to help people after divorce. And where my heart was sort of leaning towards was the people who were actually becoming my clients, the ones that were actually struggling financially, that didn't think they could hire a lawyer, they didn't think they could hire a mediator, they didn't think they could hire any type of coach to actually help them through this. And that broke my heart because I was thinking these people also deserve help. And so I've been working and trying to brainstorm with Gems for Gems for the last couple of years as to how I can support women coming out of domestic violence situations to help them reestablish themselves. And last summer, the idea of Dare to Dream came to fruition. So, it was something that I had been meditating on, something I had been like contemplating on and trying to figure out how can I help these women coming out of very toxic relationships so they don't have to continue to be controlled. Yes. They don't have to continue feeling like regret for the choices that they've made or things that have happened to them. And so I really mean it when there's circumstances, we can't change the past, but you sure can change the future. Absolutely. When you look at it differently. And C.S. Lewis quote, the one, like, that's one of my favorites, right? Is like, you can't go back, change the beginning, but you sure can change, go from where you're starting and change the ending. And that's really always been my philosophy.
Yeah, we don't have to be victim to our circumstances. Yeah. We can choose to write our next chapter and the rest of the chapters. Like that's the power we have. And I feel like so many people don't know that, or maybe they know it, but they don't really know how and where to start.
Yeah. And it's belief, right? They've gone through something very difficult. It is and I don't want to discount that in any way or shape. What they're also, society is telling them is that, they just need to get a job and their problems will be solved. Yeah. I was reading the initiative to eliminate poverty by 2026 or something like that in Canada. And I got so frustrated by reading this. And I was just like, it's so much of it is talk. And it even said there needs to be more to actually help women learn how to actually make money, not just retrain, but actually how to learn to manage their money,
Yeah.
And there's a big calling for the private sector, for people, individuals, non-government, to work to help this category, this group of people. And yes, it happens to men too. So I'm not saying that it's not difficult, but typically there is a big wage gap. There's
There
a
is.
state. I can't even remember what it's called, but it's like almost the mother gap, because a lot of women who are also
Mhm.
who have come out of divorce often have been out of the workforce because they've been stay-at-home moms. They've been working at raising their kids, and so now they have to
Real
either
thing.
retrain and spend money and go back to school with still no guarantees as to what they're going to earn. So it is really important that they know that there's alternatives than
Absolutely.
just going back to school and getting a job.
And I love that we're jamming about this because, a lot of times these moms are like, I've been out of school or out of the workforce for so long. They're confident. They don't have the confidence, and really confidence comes from action. So, Rose, tell
Mhm.
us a little bit more about, like your program and how is this your ideal client? Is this who you work with?
Yeah. So that's the group I want to help most. But who tends to be coming into my program are people who've tried to be self-employed. They've tried some type of business. They've either tried a multi-level marketing or network marketing, or they've tried, something in the past.
Mhm.
And they have a desire to do it, but they know they can't do it alone. Um, so that's tend to be the people that are coming in. There are a few people that are coming in. They're just saying they've always actually been very interested in the online world, and online world. And when you talk about that, it's so much more about systems and understanding what it works. And so what I'm finding from the people who have come to the program is that they have a great business idea. They actually have great ideas. Sorry, my eye is bothering me. They have great ideas. They have a good message. They
Mhm.
just don't know how to transfer it to bring it online so it can work for them without them having to continually trade their time for
Yeah.
dollars, right?
And it's a
And
world of I don't know what I don't know, right? And it can
mhm.
be absolutely overwhelming, especially when it comes to not just understanding how does it work to bring things online, but also uh, what tech stuff to use.
Yeah, it can be really overwhelming, and I love the stuff. I love a challenge. I love figuring out how things work. And I do preface this is that I tell people what they need to do in terms of, branding and coming up with their ideas, and I give them some inspiration, but that's not really what the program is about. The program is actually about taking action and getting online. So
Mm.
launching your first offer, figuring out how all this works with what your vision is
Yeah.
about your business, about what you can serve. And the knowledge industry is a booming industry because we all want to be able to accomplish something faster, easier, for less time and
Yes,
effort, and that's
please. Yes.
yeah. And so part of this is that I believe everybody has a gift. Everybody has an experience that can help somebody else. And when they learn how to help somebody else, they're helping themselves. So it has this ripple effect. And I don't know, I have been contemplating starting a blog called Pennies and Butterflies.
Ooh, telling
And
me
it sounds whimsical, but the idea about it is that if you're just 1% better, so 1 cent better, it's doing that, and in 70 days, you're actually twice as good. So you're like 200% better. So the whole compounding effect
more.
of the little things is what people overlook, and that's where the pennies come in. And then the butterfly effect is and I'm going to butcher this because I'm not going to necessarily explain it, but it's a story about in going back to Brazil, where when a butterfly flaps its wings in Brazil, it can actually be felt halfway around the world, right?
Yeah,
So that's the whole thing, is the little things have the biggest impact.
absolutely. I truly believe that. And sometimes that impact, Rose, doesn't, you don't, we often don't see the impacts we create. Um, And I feel like it's such a blessing when we do. And, that might look like somebody, even recently, I had somebody reach out after, I believe it's something like they've been following me for 2 years. And they reached out and said, like, this is how
Mhm.
you've changed my life, or you've really inspired me. And it's just like incredible, like whether they become clients or not, it's just incredible to hear that, yes, like I am so aligned in purpose. Even people who are listening to this, right? It's just like we won't know who all listens to this. And yet just listening could give them a piece of that. We could be part of that alchemy for them in whatever way
Mhm.
supports them to move into their next level. And it's just so, oh, it's so gasmic.
Yeah. So at least I put that out there. The pennies and butterflies will come to fruition one day. It's been something
Right.
that's been boiling. Oh yeah. But
Love
that's just,
it.
breaking it down into a way that it seems possible. Right?
Mm,
And it's that leap of, no one knows. Even the most experienced people online, even they'll have multiple ideas. Not all of them are going to be successful. So
yeah.
sometimes it's about learning the process. I heard another analogy a couple of weeks ago, and it really stuck with me. And I've shared this with my program. And there's a book called Art and Fear. And it's about a book about how ordinary art gets made. And it's just talking about, for really a true Mozart or a Picasso to come, those are like once in 100 years. But
Yeah.
there's still ordinary art becomes incredible art with practice. And so they did two case studies. They did a pottery class and a photography class in this book, and they graded half the pottery class and photography class by quantity that they actually produced and half by the quality that they produced. And so this
Mm,
goes back to the whole concept of the pennies thing, is that so in the pottery class, if they produced 100 pieces of pottery over the period of time, they got 100%. And if they produced in 100 photographs, they got 100%. If they did 90, they got 90%, and so on. And then they took that and they said, okay, we graded these. This is your mark. And then they took the quality and they actually said the people who actually did the quantity actually also had the highest quality because they took action. They took the steps. They learned the little things, how to make things better. They didn't get fixated on having to be perfect or anything like that or doing that. They just produced one
yes.
thing and then they produced the next thing and it got a little bit better over time.
I feel like I've heard that study before, and I don't know if it was from you, Rose, but I remember
Mhm.
hearing that somewhere. So thank you for the refresher. And I just feel like that's so powerful, right? Really like continue showing up, continue being in the practice, because we are always evolving, personally, professionally. And it's just like, of all the themes in what I hear from my guests on the show, it's like I, like I'm where I am today because I just kept going no matter what. And I could say the same for myself. I just kept going. All these quote unquote failures, all these mistakes, all these, like, I wouldn't be where I am today without all those mistakes and then taking lessons from them, right?
Mhm. Yeah. I also heard another quote too is like, what is, oh, you learn or you learn. There actually is no failure.
Mm, correct. I agree with that. I so
Mhm.
agree with that.
Yeah.
It's actually when
Yeah.
people ask me, like, what's your failures in life? I actually have to think really hard. And I'm like, oh, right. Okay. What are the like lessons I've learned from the things that didn't
Mhm.
work out the way I wanted to work out? So that's how I like to say it, because I believe there's no such thing as failure either, unless we just don't learn from it and we keep repeating our patterns.
Mhm. No,
Yeah.
very much so. Yeah, so that's what I do in the program is just break it
Amazing.
down into manageable steps. What is your goal? Helping them either start with an idea, how to inspire it from their experiences, how they can help it. Because, most people, the biggest problem most online businesses have is they create something and they don't know that there's a demand for it. They haven't been able to communicate it in a way that people are seeing is saying that they want it, right? And so what I walk through, one of the first things I do is a visualization with my group, and it's about, think back at a point in time when you were either in a difficult situation or you're in a crossroads, or there's some point you made a really you had to make a really important decision, and if you had help, or if you had known a piece of information, or if you had some type of guide at that point, how would your life be different today? What would be that project, like, going in? So part of it is the mistake part, and saying I wish it could be different, and we all say, like, if we had only known, hindsight is 2020. I'm like, this is your perfect example of taking the hindsight 2020 and saying you could take and learn from that, and you can actually help somebody else, because guaranteed there's somebody else in that situation. You just got to find who you relate to, who has your similar values, what is it you want to do, because when you're passionate about something, everything comes with ease and flow.
Absolutely. I love that. I exactly do the same thing in my programs with my clients. It's like, I frame it as like, it's your former version of yourself. So think of the timeline, think of your own timeline from birth till now, and think about like where you were almost on the verge of breakthrough, or you just had a breakthrough. Those are usually where the demand may be, because you were there. And so, yeah, there's like all those versions of you in here, in this world. And so, yes, we're unique, but we also are not that unique that no one else experiences what we've experienced, so that people can relate with that, right? So,
yeah, we want connection.
Yes.
Right? And we want relatability, and people don't want to see a perfect person. So it's just going, it's like, okay, what have I learned from this, and how can I help? And honestly, that whole journey also helps them heal.
1000%. I feel like that's like the, in that timeline, we, like with my clients, we take that timeline and we go, your why comes from your pain turned into your purpose. And we go like 7 layers deep, like where was that, unpacking it. And I'm sure the same for you, Rose. Like, that's a process that many people haven't thought about. Like, oh, my ideal client is me, like my former version of me. And then let's really unpack, like, how did I get here really? Like, what really supported me? Because even if somebody's been on a similar, we'll say, has experienced similar pain, their path to where they got to probably looks a little different. And so they have their own, I call it alchemy of magic that got them there. Yeah. So it's powerful.
It's so true. And I often will diagram for the people, just so they get a visualization, right? Like, we never stay the same, whether we resist it or not. We're going to go from point A to B, and how the ups and downs, the setbacks, etc. When you go at it alone, you're going to have a lot more ups and downs. You're going to have a lot more, setbacks and getting stuck. And so I literally draw this line of, someone going from A to B and having all this squiggly and everything, right? And that's without help. And then imagine if you could help somebody, you can now take them from A to C with a little bit of an up curve, with like an improvement, right? You've made them achieve something a little bit faster, or you've helped them avoid some pain that they're really trying to do. So now the ups and downs were actually a little bit less, and perhaps that no one has a straight trajectory, and we have to be real about that. But man, they don't have, it's not as high as up and down, and they're less likely to get stuck. And so when people can understand that visual of helping people, that's what the coaching business is about. That's what the knowledge industry is about. That's what heartfelt people do, is they elevate them from where they are. And it's really up to the people that are involved to decide, okay, well, how far up do I want to go?
I love the way you shared that. Yeah, that's what coaches do. And that's why you and I have our own coaches too, is because it's like we get to be in this space where our coach can see our blind spots. We don't know what we don't know about taking ourselves to that next level sometimes, right? And sometimes that's a tech thing. Sometimes that's a mindset, a belief shifting thing. And so it's just so powerful to be able to take, I would still call it shortcuts, right? The shortcuts to like know how to like, I'll learn from someone else's mistakes. That's why I always love to share my own mistakes and my lessons, because then I'm like, yo, look, this is what happened when I did this. So take it or leave it.
Yes, and you're right. Take it or leave it, right? And it is up to people for
Yeah,
themselves. We can't save everybody. We can't help
that
everybody.
is our job.
People actually help themselves.
That's
And
correct.
that whole, when they realize, and I've worked with clients either on the divorce side and in my program, they're like, I couldn't have done this without you. And I'm like, yeah, you could have. It might have taken you longer, but I'm like, you actually did the work. I was just
Yes.
helping you,
Yes.
pointing you in the right
Yes.
direction and supporting you where you needed to. But honestly, give yourself way more credit, because it's not on me. You decided to do it. You decided to make that step forward. You decided to get out of your comfort zone. I can't do any of that for anybody. None of us can do that for anybody else.
Yes. Rose, and that I feel like that's the biggest thing is when people decide, and it's one of it's my foundational value because it's changed my life, to go from being a victim in their life, blaming themselves or blaming other people, to looking at life, because everything is neutral until we put meaning to it, and how we do that is based on our system, from a perspective of taking radical personal and spiritual accountability. It's like, well, let me see, how am I co-creating this? What beliefs are holding me back? What can I shift so that I can move forward? And what's my part in this? What's possible for me? Like, it opens up so much more. And those are the people I see that literally take leaps in from like point A to point B so quickly, because they're not stuck in these beliefs that are holding them back. They're seeing it, they're allowing themselves to see a different way, and then taking that action, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so huge. So
And sometimes the baby steps. And I think when I tell people, it's actually on my Facebook group page, my firm private one, and like, hang out with me long enough and I will brainwash you to believing that you can do anything.
it's true. It's true. Whether we believe we can or we can't, it's true, right? And it's so true when we're in that container of magic. And I know, Rose, you're so magical that here, when you're in this group, it's just like you're watching, you're inspired by like all the clients are inspired by each other. Like you're facilitating, you're holding it, and they're so catalyzed by each other, watching each other take actions. Like, okay, I'm giving, that person's doing it, I'm going to give myself permission to do it. And it's just so cool to see the domino effect that happens in these kind of containers.
And that's where group work is really powerful.
Yes.
Being an entrepreneur is very isolating. You can have those voices, and doing it along with other people, being motivated by other people, accountable, because when you put something out there, right, people will always ask what is happening. So it works for both respects. And I think for new entrepreneurs, networking is so good. Just getting out there, like, it's so easy to get caught up on, oh, I've got to just keep producing. I've got to do all this stuff in the background. And like, I made that mistake when I was like, you can build it. No one's going to come if they don't know about it. If you don't know what your voice, your message is, and how it's all going. So, my program is that combination of, it is a group setting. They get one-on-one coaching with me. They get task lists and homework to do, and things that are manageable. Break it down to steps so they see the vision and what they want to create. But community is so important when you're struggling, when you're starting out.
1000%. And it's and research does prove that even if we can make all these changes, if we're in an environment of naysayers, people who aren't where we want to be, or going where we want to go, unfortunately, environment always wins. So it's so pertinent to be part of a community of like-minded people who have similar goals and are going towards what you're working on. So incredible. Okay, we're going to go commercial. And Rose, when we come back, I would love to, because I know we've been talking more about the mindset and just some of the themes, but I'd love to peel back the curtains a little bit for those who are like, okay, what's the systems? Because they're not so sexy, but I like to call them sexy because once we go, right? And I'd love for you to just break that down a little bit more to see that it's so doable. Okay, so
awesome.
We'll jump on that and so much more after this.
Times TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Om Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Om Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Om Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Om Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Om Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Om Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
Are you feeling maxed out working one-on-one with clients and you're deeply desiring to scale your business for more time freedom without sacrificing your income, but rather expanding it? Many of my clients who are light workers, healers, practitioners, and even coaches, they're often multi-modality, are coming to me because they are sick and tired of working with clients on a one-off session model where the clients are coming in on an as-need basis. Or if they're selling packages, they are selling them in the sense of buy 5, get 1 free, or the greater the number of sessions, the greater the discount. The problem with this is it's still a dollar for hours business model. And so that leaves the practitioner feeling really exhausted and overwhelmed from having to put so much time, effort, and energy in finding new clients that they're not operating in their most elevated self with their current clients. And so if this is you, I would love to share with you that it's time to elevate your business and scale it to sell high ticket one-on-one programs or even group programs. This will allow you to have more deeper impacts because you're raising your clients' results, you're scaling your business, and you're having that time freedom you deeply are yearning for. If this is resonating with you, love, I'd love to invite you to come on a soul business alignment call with me so that you can stop feeling like you're on this roller coaster ride and start to feel safe and stable and even having fun in your business and your finances. Please go to electrifymybusiness.com to apply and we'll hop on a call. I can't wait to connect.
If I could be you and you could be me for just 1 hour, if we could find a way to get inside each other's minds, walk a mile in my shoes, walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
Hello, welcome back. Okay, Rose, we're gonna get down and peel back the layers. I feel like this is one of your major strengths, just with your background as a financial analysis as well. Just like analyst, sorry, can't talk.
Yeah.
But with the systems, like how does one get started? How do you walk them through the systems once they understand their niche, their branding, their messaging? Then what happens?
So if you've heard the term funnel, it is about creating a sales page, a sales system. It's really about building a machine that's going to work for them when they're not working, right? So a lot of people have that vision, they have a message, and I literally apply the same methodology that I'm teaching in the course, to going from like a burned out service provider to trying to figure out how I can actually get my information, my knowledge, so that I could actually have more time freedom. I could actually impact more people, right? So I could reach more people because we only have X amount of days. And then as a result, actually make more money from that, right? So it has three, layers to it. And, going back to the question is like, why should you start an online business? Because we all need diversification. We all need multiple income sources. Depending on a job alone that you love is great, but what if you get sick? What if you get hurt? What if like some other life circumstances takes that job away? Wouldn't it be nice that you had something else that was working for you, that had that fallback? Or if you weren't happy in a job and you wanted to figure out how to doing that. A lot of people will think about investing in real estate. They will think about investing in like the stock market, which are all really valid things. I do them all. I honestly do them all. And I have since I've been an investor since I was 18 years old. And I've always been looking for ways to make money without trading my time. So that has always been my vision. So one of the reasons they have to do that is that really, if actually the average millionaire, and I'm not putting out that everybody's going to make millions, but the average millionaire has multiple sources of income. They have 7 sources of income. And if you want to get to, making tens of thousands of dollars, like 6 figures a year, one thing alone is not going to get you there.
Nope, it's
right?
not. Yeah.
And so the people who are really struggling at making nothing, or even 30, 40, 50,000, this could make and break their lifestyle, right? So it's not a or, this is an and.
And I love
This
it.
is
I
an
love
and.
what you're talking about so much right now, Rose. Yes, it's all about diversifying, having multiple streams of income. It's so, so important. Yes, I 1000% agree. Dan and I are always like, okay, what's another source we can add? What's another one? Like, we're always so open to co-creating and just like looking at all the ways that we could have fun making money. It's so important. And I think that's another thing too, Rose, is because so many people, like I continue every single day to do money mindset work, because it really is important, and the beliefs, and then looking at things, behind the scenes with my spreadsheets, and having my money dates with not just my husband, who's financial planner, but also my money team for my business. It's really important to keep reviewing things, and it can be really overwhelming. I think systems in general is overwhelming, but what I have learned, even for myself, I will just fully admit it. I'm like, no, I can change my thoughts around this. This does not have to be overwhelming. To this day, I still hate spreadsheets. I hate it, but I hate it less, and I'm starting to like be okay with it. And then when I see the result from being able to see the numbers, see the tracking of my leads, see the leads turning into, like, converting into whatever programs they're enrolling in, I'm like, okay, this is worth it. Because if I didn't track, if I didn't have systems, holy shit, it'd be a hot mess.
Well, it would. You wouldn't know how to repeat it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know what is not working.
Yes.
And you wouldn't be able to track to actually motivate either, right? And it's really inspiring to go in. It's just like, oh, I got that result from this little thing. What if I did this? What would be my potential, right? So it really actually breaks open the barriers. And it's really interesting because most people do avoid the numbers. They don't want to because they're scared. Because they don't feel like they understand it. But I'm like, when you really understand the numbers and how the system can work for you, I totally geek out on it. And when I talk to my group, and I'm like, are you guys getting this? Like, this is like amazing.
It's exciting, right? That's where, because I feel like sometimes, and I'm just gonna call some people out with love, but especially with like people who are in the woo world, and I'm in there, it's just like, oh, I don't feel like it, or oh, it's not meant to be, or oh, it just, like, no, look at your numbers too. You need to have the ground, you need to have the earth too, like you need to have the masculine in there with the feminine. Just like, please look at your numbers, because it's not just based on feelings that something didn't work out. You need to look at the analytics of it. And I will be the first to say, like, how important that is from somebody who was that person. It's like, okay, no, I really need to get my shit together and look at the systems.
Yeah.
So,
And the nice part is that it doesn't have to be forever, but you can't train somebody else to
yeah,
do what only you can do until you have it down pat, right?
yeah,
So I've
absolutely.
made that mistake where I've paid tens of thousands of dollars thinking, oh, I'll just pay somebody else to do
Yes,
this. I'll get this done and whatever. And you're like, and then it doesn't happen that way because I wasn't even clear about what I needed them to do. I
correct.
wasn't clear in terms of what my vision was, and so that's where when they're building their system, and when I tell the people in the program, and I'm like, here's the common threads that you need to do. You can put your own unique flavor to it, but you can't skip these pieces. Right.
Correct.
So here's the foundation. Like, this is the starting point. And I really explain to people, I'm like, this is where most people will jump to, or they'll start here and they wonder why they're not getting results. And then when they start seeing that, that they have to have clarity from the beginning, they need to know what problem they're solving. And if they can't even communicate that in a sentence or even themselves, it's going to be even worse putting it online and communicating it. So that's where the group work comes in, and really like start thinking about your ideas and sharing them with others and getting feedback, because if you just all you do is create and you put it online, then you wonder what's not happening. It's there. But yeah, it's actually, the system is not that complicated. People set it up to, when people look at it, they go, it's really doable. And that's actually literally my first session is like, here's the overview of everything you're going to do. And but this is your stage one. This is what you're going to be starting with, right? So they need to see what the vision is, but I'm like, but now put that out of your head, right? Now we're going to just go, week by week and follow the task. Now you know how it all fits in. So yeah, so I've changed my wording because I'm in my second program group, and it was all about, getting your offer online and selling online. And I actually just changed it. I said, now it's your first offer.
Mm,
Don't like, this isn't going to be necessarily what you're going to be attached to. You're actually learning about the process of
yeah.
putting your mind, your message into writing, into a format that is actually clear, that will inspire people to say yes to what you're doing. And
Mhm.
that is a really big gap for most people, because they're like, I have it all, I could write it and I could have it, but I'm like, you need to put it in a format that actually people will digest it, and it will actually catch their attention, and they'll say, yeah, I need to actually work with this person.
Mhm.
So there's two ways of building the program, is that they could build an online business, and have it, they don't actually have to have a coaching practice, they don't actually have to have a current business. But it also, where it can do is that it can actually be the front end of a coaching business. So for some people who are working, and trading their time for, dollars for hours or whatever, but what they're seeing is that it's a big leap. A lot of people aren't saying yes because they haven't built the know, like, and trust first
Yes. Yes.
online.
I want to back this up and like zoom in, because when you and I were personally chatting, you had said, and I feel like the audience is like, did I hear this right? You do not need to have a coaching practice or like um, we'll say certification in order to have an online business.
You
So let's
don't.
speak a little bit more to those people right now. Who are like, I
Yeah.
want a passive income, and I want to or I want to create another stream of income, but I don't have a coaching certification. I'm not certified in anything else. Like, what, Rose?
Yeah, there's so much that can be done. And because it's the knowledge information industry, right? People want, and to be honest, transformation really only happens when you work one-on-one, when you go into when you really up level. And that's what the most coaches aspire to do, is we really want to transform people's lives.
Yes.
But what about all the people that we haven't connected with yet? What about all the people who don't know about our work? What about all the people who just,
Yeah.
a little tidbit of information at the right time could be a game changer for them? right? So not everybody's going to invest in coaching and the whole thing. So, think about it in layers. This is like the step one of getting people, on the radar, understanding of what is there. So yeah, it's the information again. It's about like the saving people time. There's people that it's really interesting because you could make money through selling information and creating content online, right?
Correct.
You set it up once, if you set it up properly and there's high value in what they're getting, people will consume it at their own time, and that's what generates you a passive income. And
Yes.
so I really want to differentiate the difference between passive and active income. The whole basis of my program is to build passive income, not to build a business that's going to require you
Yeah.
to have to manage it on an ongoing basis full time. Yes, you can't necessarily set it up. It's going to take work to set it up, but it's work that you're doing once, and then it's multiplying and it's leveraging, right? And then you're maintaining it for a reduced amount of time. So I really want to be honest with people that I'm like, if you're willing to invest 40 hours of your time, you could have something that could generate you a couple $100 to a couple $1,000 a month. Isn't that a worthwhile investment that keeps coming over and over and over again?
Yes. Yes. And it is so fun when the sales come in. Let me just say, just for my business, it's just like I have some digital courses, and the funnels, are just like working on its own. It's just like people come in through the lead magnet, the freebie, and it nurtures, and then all of a sudden you get sales in your back end. You're like, oh, I really didn't do too much. This is amazing. So much.
Yeah, and it is courses on the back end, right? So when I do go in the system, it is I really believe in a high value, low cost item as opposed to freebies. And only even if it's like $5, the mentality is very different for someone who's willing to spend $5 than actually take a freebie. And so I work on the psychology of the whole. How do you actually get your funnel to actually your sales page and working so you have really qualified people that are going to go, and then what it could be the next offer that you could get. So if people start here and just like, oh, that's interested, they've put their hand up. And now you have to have a system to remarket those people who put their hand up. That's what this is about.
Love it. And yes, I mean, I know and understand there's so much more in the background that you walk your clients through with the technical parts of that. I'm sure the testing part of that, which is, I'm going to say, really, like, that is the piece that a lot of people don't know. Like, I didn't know until I got coached around it, and it's so important.
I know.
Rose, like, I can see you light up about this.
People, I want to light up because I really need to tell people that in the program, I do all the tech for people. I'm like, stay in your genius zone, stay in your interest. I do it all for them because I know that is the biggest barrier for most people. And I'm like, I map it all out for you. You get it all, and I put it all together for you.
Oh my God.
So I've told you how to lay it all out.
That right there, Rose, like, tell us, how do we work with you? Like, that right there, I feel like a lot of people will be like, yes, I need that. Just, okay, Rose, where do people go? Where, like, if you guys, trust me, coming from my experiences, the tech piece, if you're more of a dreamer, you're more of a visionary, but you suck at the tech, which I think most of us do if we're in that category of spirituality, because we didn't go to school for tech. Like, this is the gold. This is the gold that growth has. This is the magic piece that so many, I think that's what really makes you, Rose, this program that you're having extra specials, that you do the tech for them. Like, okay, we're leaving it. Tell us. Like, I'm like, yes.
Okay. So my website, and I'm sure you'll put that in the show notes. It's called fillyourbankaccount.info.
Oh my God, I love it.
Very simple. Fill your bank account. .info. Okay.
Oh,
The program, and I've structured it very differently. And again, getting into coaching and paying other people to do this work can be really expensive. So
yeah.
the way I have structured it is, if you had the money and you really wanted to pay me to do it, I can do it. But
Yeah.
what I've actually done it is I flipped it, because I want this available to everybody, is I've done it actually as a partnership. So
Mm.
instead of paying me up front, we are a partner. So I will take your genius, I will take all your gifts and help you develop everything. I will put it online, and we're going to share in the revenue that's coming in.
God, see,
So that, and then they have an option to buy me out down the road. So I'm not saying, hey, I can do this for you, and there you go, you're going to go make money. And I'm like, literally, I'm as invested in your success as you are, because
love.
I'm only going to earn money if
Yeah.
I get you earning actually money.
Oh my God. Like, okay, I love how win-win-win that is, Rose. Like, seriously, like, I'm having soulgasms right now. That is, like, when you told me that, I'm like, yes, we need, like, this is such a brilliant business model. I love it so much. And it helps your clients take the overwhelm of that tech, because that's not their specialty. They have all these beautiful ideas. You're here to support them, put it into a sales funnel, automate that, so that this is now an online business. Incredible.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I teach them how to drive traffic to it and everything. So it's
Thank you
not
for
like, let's just build it, because again, if you just build it and you're not having eyeballs on it, people aren't seeing it, it's not going to happen. So again, I'm as invested. I'm like, I want to see all my clients be super successful, because it's just going to make me more successful. And I really geek out on this stuff. And I am a systems person. I'm a like, okay, if I could do this once, I can do this 10 times. So I have it all templated. I have everything like organized, because I'm about efficiency. I'm about doing it. So I'm like, I'm not airy fairy in the terms of saying, oh, just give me what you have and then I'll just output. I actually really show them what
that
they're
is
actually
so
creating.
incredible. Well, and I mean, like, with your background, it's as a financial analyst, you aren't scared of numbers. It's like your jam. Like, this is like, you literally get lit up with this. So it's like the way your brain works, and it's not a lot of how. I'll say, even myself, it's not natural for me, right? And so I love that you walk people through this, like, hold their hands. You're in partnership with them. So amazing. Yes.
And they have community. Because they're
Oh,
in with a group
everything.
of people. Mm-hmm.
Everything. So powerful. Thank you, Rose. So fill your bank account.
.info.
Okay. Go there, people. Go there. And tell them you heard about if you heard about Rose from me, let her know that, because we always like to know where our referral sources come from. Super would appreciate that. Rose, any closing things that you want to share before we move into our closing meditation?
Yeah, I just I think a conversation, if you've always been wondering and if you're feeling stuck in any situation, and you need to earn some additional money. Honestly, this is without tooting my horn, like, honestly, this is a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer. It's a win-win. And just to go back to, is you can't get into this program without having a conversation with me. So it's not like you're just going to sign up and wondering. I will explain, will handhold you. I will ask you where you heard and how you heard about this and everything, and what are your goals, etc. So you're going to feel good from the get-go.
Beautiful. Okay, my loves, let's just breathe all of that in. Like, don't you just love Rose's nurturing energy of when I'm here in partnership with you. I'm here to support you to get your gifts out into the world. I'll help you with all the tech stuff that you don't want to have to deal with. Okay, let's just feel into that.
Mm-hmm.
That just gives you so much hope. And I just want you to breathe that in. So breathe in the hope, breathe in the possibilities of being able to put yourself out there in the world, share your gifts with ease, with support, with community. Morakia sira kuratinera kia. So arakia sira kuratinera kuratia. Opening up the possibilities for your next level. Morakia sarakuratinera kua. This beautiful white light coming from source right through your crown chakra, the top of your head, coming into your core, filling you up and moving around you in your auric field. Morakia sira kuratinera kuratia. Breathing in. Suspending your breath, conjuring in your power, conjuring in the possibilities and the hope, and then grounding down right into Mother Earth, planting your soul essence, your hopes, your dreams, seeding them, and allowing the ripple effects to take place. Beautiful. Breathing in and out. Thank you so much, Rose.
Thank
So
you.
your beautiful energy, your wisdom. I can't wait for people to reach out to you. Just thank you so much for being you and doing what you're doing in the world.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Love what you do as well. You too.